And Jack in the Box. Let's head right into the KUAM News Zoom room where we have standing by in 108-degree Las Vegas weather. Sabrina Salas Matanani, and she's joined by Republican Senator Jim Moylan. Good morning, Senator.
Hi, good morning, Bree, Chris, Jason. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, first of all, congratulations. One of your bills was signed into law.
Right? It's like a graduation. I waited years for this to happen, but yes, I'm happy for that. So that was Bill 90, and we were talking previously about these reports that come out of GSA, and specifically on the sole source purchases and the emergency procurement, where during the pandemic, the governor has the authority to take charge on those. So a few months back, we received the report from GSA, and that's just mandated annually. And then when we saw the report and so many questions that numerous senators had, we talked about having this report made more frequently, and that was addressed in the bill form and got signed into the law by the governor, saying these reports would now be monthly. If everything is going well and we can review those reports, there's no issue, right? But if there's something that catches our eye, and also these reports are public, then we can look at it before it becomes too late in the day or in the year, right? So the idea is the transparency and questioning the checks and balances, and that's what Bill 90 does, specifically towards the sole source purchase and the emergency procurement, and now with the American Recovery Plan, knowing that we have over $600 million coming on in, even more so important that we monitor where these funds are being spent in those two categories. So I'm pleased for my graduation on one of my bills getting into law.
Right on.
Is this in effect immediately?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Right.
Nice.
So the first report would be July. Okay.
It should be, yes. Something we'll make sure GSA understands, and so they don't fall behind.
Senator, another issue that you've been kind of pounding on, well, since early on, was the payment of the RISE Act. And we did have we had Daphne on, and she's indicated that she's already working on the application. It's kind of, we know they're not going to pay it today. We know they're not going to pay it tomorrow. But Daphne seemed to be of the mindset that she's going to do everything she has to do on her end, so that when the green light is finally given from Adelup, that she can go ahead and move forward with this. But we did have a couple comments on here. Rosemary Laguardia, who's one of our frequent contributors, commented that the funds were acknowledged in May by the governor. And then we had the communications director of Adelup commenting in here, Crystal Pacos and Augustine. While Guam has received the ARPA funds, how those funds can be spent has not been finalized. At this time, there is only interim guidance. What we observed with the CARES Act funds last year is that the guidance kept changing. It would be prudent to await final guidance, which I understand we expect next month. And then she also clarified that Gita is not involved in the RISE Act, and Reventax is to be the administrator of it. But, Senator Moylan, it's pretty interesting to me because we spoke with the CNMI governor's office, their communications, Crystal's counterpart in the CNMI, and they're already spending the money. They're using the interim guidance, and they're spending money. They've also given nonprofits there. I think a cancer nonprofit was given $400,000 to resume essential services. So how do you kind of make that we have Crystal and the governor saying that, we want to wait because it's going to be prudent to wait another month and then some, while just 45 minutes to the north, they're of the mindset that they can spend this money that they have?
Right. It's all interpretation, and the governor has made it clear. It's her purse strings, and she will let us know when the time is right. However, I was able to hear that interview you had in Saipan, and that makes total sense. The major focus of these funds, where they should go, And if they're wanting to clarify a few things, that's fine. But if you're putting the money into the hands of the people that were affected by the pandemic because their loss of jobs and current financial situations, how can that go against the American Rescue Plan? That's so solid, I think. If you're putting it in for something outrageous, then okay, maybe you should question your thought process on that. But putting the money into the hands of the people, which we've done previously with the CARES Fund, why would that drastically change? And the interim instructions, as Saipan has reviewed with us, is pretty clear. So if you want to fine line a few more things in July, wait for July 16, I wouldn't. I would go ahead and start with those marching orders and take it from there. If they're going to expand upon it, okay, maybe I can look at it then. But putting the money into the hands of the people, there's no way that could be objected by the federal government, saying that's not the purpose of the American Rescue Plan. So it's interpretation, though. Yeah. It's just interpretation by Adelup and what they want to do.
Maybe what it is that by turning this RISE Act, which was already a law, into the All Rise, how do you say it, Bree?
All Rise.
Yeah, so maybe because the governor is changing this into the All Rise Act, maybe that's why she has to wait for guidance, because she wants to include a class of employees who may not have been adversely affected or as adversely affected by the pandemic as the other people who are qualified for the... I wonder if that's it. Is that because she wants to include GovGuam retirees and the GovGuam employees? Is that why they need to wait on the guidance? Because you're right, it kind of seemed like the black and white of it, the RISE Act, was good to go. And now, man, Senator, it freaking hurts my heart because the governor doesn't really go around, I mean, she doesn't. She's not out here talking to people. Like, people come and talk to us because we're in the media, and everywhere I go, people are asking us, can you keep pushing on the RISE Act? Why haven't we got the RISE Act? Does the governor know that we're hurting? It hurts, and I don't know what to say because they think that the governor is so out of touch because she's, she owns a bank. Obviously there's a little bit of a class difference between the governor and everyone else. And so it's frustrating for us in the media because we don't know what to tell these people. I mean, I told the lady yesterday, well, God, they're not even going to start the printer until after July 16th. That's a whole month away for something that was made into a law in December.
It is frustrating, likewise for the legislature and going through the budget process and where the governor plans to focus the dividing up the money for the different agencies, from where the legislature needs to kind of interpret what's going to happen and also balance that with the general fund. But getting back to what you're saying, Chris, yeah, it is frustrating. Our office receives the calls as well. And I can't see, I can understand DRT needing to need that time to get things online and create the forms, and they are working to expedite that, so they're ready to go, just needing that green light from Adelup to say release the funds. The funds are there, identified, and if you don't want to touch the American Rescue Plan till July 16th, you can touch the general fund now, and then that has nothing to do with the guidance coming from the federal government. And then if you want to replenish with the American Rescue Plan, okay, just make sure your accounting was all correct. So the law at least gave the option of the general fund or the American Rescue Fund. The executive order just kind of copies that as well. So the governor has the authority, make it done today, go right ahead, as long as DRT is ready, but has chosen to delay the process by using the statement that we're finalizing the instruction from the federal government on the American Rescue Plan. I would disagree with that. I'm more in line with what CNMI has done 45 minutes away,
yeah,
and implementing the process and getting things going.
But they're not being prudent, apparently.
Yeah, I think they're doing the best thing that is
they're
right
not
for
being
them.
Prudent. CNMI, you're so, was it imprudent, Jay? What's the opposite of prudent, the word for it? You're being so imprudent, Governor Ralph Torres, and you guys and your risky business.
I wanted to get your assessment of how you feel the budget oversight hearings have been going. Because, when we had Senator Duenas on, he was pretty, I guess,
Frustrated.
blunt about, blunt about how difficult it has been, because you try and ask questions about, what about ARPA money? How much are you guys getting? And is it going to offset anything? And just making it really difficult to crunch the numbers and come up with the spending plan for 2022. So I just wanted to hear from you what it's been like on your end.
It's disappointing, and Senator Duenas really explained it good, that how can we, the legislature, decide on the placement of the general funds to balance the budget through OFB when we have just about close to doubling the general fund with the American Rescue Plan, unknowing where this money is coming from, other than the information we get from some of the directors every now and then. The budget hearing, to me, now without that information is a waste of time, other than them telling us the regular shortfalls that they have, but really a waste of time until we're going to have our budget hearing session, and then we'll call, of course, we'll have BBMR there, we'll have DOA there. We'll go into a committee as a whole during the budget, and then we'll be asking these questions. It will be, for sure, it better not be without a plan coming from Adelut by that time. This draft that is still in a draft form that they don't want to share with us. But yet in Saipan, that was a great explanation where they got all the departments together. They got the mayors together. They got all the islands together, and the governor expressed how this money will be divided and put out. So it kind of happened, seemed like it happened at one big briefing, which the governor sponsored. And what a great way to get their constituents and the directors and the island mayors together, saying how we can really help out to grow this. We don't have that here. We don't see that. Ours is more like, just stay tuned. We'll let you know when we're ready to tell you what's going on. And in the meantime, don't interfere with what we're doing, because we know better. I think we need to change our but we need to do our duties.
Yeah, we got to change our Wikipedia, because Guam's a dictatorship apparently, or under form of government. Let's go ahead and change it to benevolent dictatorship.
Well, we sure hope not, but it's just how the communication seems to come out to us, and the disappointment at the budget hearings. If that's how we're going to play it out, how can we help each other? And that's why I feel that these budget hearings, the time we were going through is going to be a waste, because we're going to get into committee as a whole when we're into session, and then kind of iron it out by then. But by then, it's also too late. You can maybe make a few amendments, but you're really not doing a due diligence when we should be doing that at this point in time.
I just don't get it. I mean, I don't get how an agency director, like a fire chief or a police chief, can come before a body like the legislature and just not tell you guys how much money they're getting from the governor. Like it's a big secret. And you guys can't pierce that veil. It's frustrating. I mean, is there anything else outside of like taking people to court or something that you guys feel you can do? Because you're right, it almost does seem like a waste of time. And I gotta say, they're playing you guys.
Right. Yes. If they don't appear, we can have them appear. But their answers, it's almost like you're in front of Congress and you just want to take your Fifth Amendment right and not provide any information. And in the 35th, I kind of felt that as well. And here we go again in the 36. At the end, we hope it all works out, but this isn't a good start.
Yeah, the chief of staff.
I think it was the sign for me that kind of showed, oh, this is not going to go real well, was when Public Health appeared for their budget oversight hearing, and they requested $17 million less, right, than what they requested from the previous fiscal year. And we all remember the whole budget battle and the fallout after it was passed. And public health, the governor was like, oh, you guys shorted public health, you shorted public health. And so for them to come back with a budget that was $17 million short, and the rest coming from ARPA, but nobody really could get any sure clarification. So yeah, from there I knew like, oh, this is not going to be good. So, and then you hear GPD not answering and so forth. So I don't know.
I just don't see how this is beneficial or how it's productive. And I really feel like the chief of staff, John Jr. Calvo, who we never see or hear from, they need to tell these directors, like, hey, I mean, but unless that's the play is, okay, don't tell them what you're getting of ARPA funds. Whatever you do, don't tell them. I just don't see how that is something genuine, especially given that these funds, I mean, they're not a re-election fund. These are funds that are designed to bridge us from now until we're all good.
Right. Yeah, and I really feel like, why are we playing these games if that's in fact what's happening, when you don't want to play with people's lives and livelihoods?
Like, I would want to hear from even Crystal, if you're going to comment, like, tell us why these directors are not telling senators how much they're getting from the American Rescue Plan. I really just don't get it. Like, what's the big deal? There's public money, right? Public positions. Right. We're paying their salaries. Why don't they just say, okay, Senator, yeah, we're getting $12 million from the governor? I don't get why it's top secret and classified. I just don't.
Yeah, nor do I.
But maybe there's a draft plan. Maybe there's a reason. I mean, maybe there's a reason, but we don't know because they're not communicating.
Yeah, exactly. But it could be, hey, we want to see how much general fund you're going to get to the department, and then, okay, if it's a little short, then we'll plug in this American Rescue Plan, rather than looking at it as one pot.
But that's not
that we can help the island.
Yeah, that's not what's happening
in total, because I don't see that either. So time will tell, and we'll see how this rolls out at the end, and the people of Guam are expecting things to be done properly. Right. And with OPA, they're watching over. I'm sure they're expecting that to be done correctly as well. But yes, we need to, through, for example, the RISE Act, let's pay that out. I see no reason to continue to delay it, other than following once the director at DRT says, hey, we're ready to go. The forms are here. We did the process. We'll be at different villages to ensure nobody's left out. Or if they can't have a computer access, we'll help them out that way. Let's get it rolling. And then that, of course, that would generate BBT when the money is spent within the community. So it would generate more money. That's the goal. Every time it changes hands, BBT, employee taxes, and corporate taxes. So,
all right.
What can I say?
Yeah, it is what it is. Boom.
Yes.
Thank you, Senator.
Yes. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you.
All right.
Yeah, like Bree, like Senator Moylan said, if it was something like they want to go before the legislature and find out what they're going to get from the legislature and then reconcile that with the governor after the fact, then yeah, I could kind of understand. But that's totally not what's happening. Is these agency heads and these directors are going into the legislature knowing full well